Welcome to the Grace and Grit podcast, where every week we discuss behavior and the top 3 strategies that we as behavior analysts suggest to work on it.
Hey everyone, and Lauren. Today our topic is haircuts. So whether you are going for the first time with your child or whether this is just something that you've attempted and it didn't go as you planned, we are going to discuss our 3 strategies for dealing with haircuts and how to prepare for them and then how to get through it.
Yeah, this is really tricky and something that we've had a lot of clients struggle with, and we've worked through during our sessions because if you have a child who's getting like a cut with a buzzers, that sound is really scary to them. So our first strategy, the first thing we suggest is this getting them used to those tools. So if you have buzzers at home, that's great. If not, maybe purchase a really cheap pair because we really want to start fading that in so that they get used to it. And how you start doing that is simply by bringing it out to start with. Just let them see it, and then let them touch it, hold it, look at it, whatever, with them off. And then we're going to set them up with an activity that they really, really enjoy so that you can plug in those buzzers and turn them on. But we're not going to just immediately start trying to cut their hair or anything like that. It's going to be a slow process. So maybe they're watching their iPad or their favorite show and the buzzers are on and you're holding them a couple feet away. And then slowly, very slowly, like over days, not just over the span of a day, we're going to just bring it closer and closer and closer. If they freak out, back up a little bit and do that another couple days, and then you can go closer and closer again. Eventually, the end goal is to make it so that you can touch the back of their head or the side of their head or wherever it is with the buzzers. Put the guard on so you don't accidentally shave them bald. Unless that's the goal, that's fine. But keep the guard on and just bring it around their head so that they have the feeling of it. It's in their ear and they can get used to it while they're watching their show. And the reason we want to do this really slowly is because that is a really scary noise. And we want them to get used to it little by little so that it doesn't freak them out too much. It's just exposure therapy. And I had another point I was going to make and it's gone. But basically, by doing it nice and slowly, we'll get them used to it. They'll be okay. And if you're letting them do something like watch a show or their iPad, that's something they can do while they're at the salon too. So it's not like they're going to have to even learn to accept that buzzer on their head without the show. It's fine to bring that in with you. We're going to do the same thing with scissors. Let them touch them. Obviously, you're going to be supervising, so they're not going to cut themselves, but bring them closer. Let them hear that little snip, snip sound so it's not terrible when they're actually at the salon. We want to prepare them as much as possible so that when they're actually there, they're not upset, freaking out. I know some very talented stylists that can work around bobbing and weaving and crying and screaming, but none of us want to put our child through that. So these are great ways you can prepare long ahead of time. Maybe their hair is going to get a little rough in the meantime, so you can get them ready, but overall it will make it a much easier experience if you can get them used to those tools.
Mm-hmm. And it's not uncommon for kids to be like, what are you doing over there with the buzzers? And that's okay too. You can just say, oh, I'm, practicing, or I'm just holding them. You can just kind of give them a simple reason of why you bought them and are using them in the living room. But it can definitely help get them used to those sounds, which can then, get them through that haircut, especially those kiddos that struggle with the sensory input or sensory, the loud noises. This can be really beneficial to just get them used to those sounds. And our strategy 2 is to get them used to wearing the cape. So, oftentimes that can be a challenge in of itself with the tight constriction of the cape around their necks, and it's not something that we're used to wearing. So what we're going to do is make it something that they're used to wearing. So like Lauren said, with the buzzers, we're going to buy a really cheap cape off the internet or get one at the local store, and you are just going to see how long they will let you wear it. Obviously, if they won't even let you get it around their neck, then you are going to just put it on, take it off, get them used to it even slower. But if they will let you put it around their neck. You're just going to let them play with them, do a fun activity while they're wearing it, and then slowly increase that time. So if you found that they can, wear it for like 1 minute and then they are ready to take it off, that's great. You can tell them like, oh, that was a really good job wearing your cape. I'm so proud of you. Give them that praise for trying it. And then just slowly start to increase that time. So maybe the next day you do like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and you slowly start to build upon that until they are able to wear the cape for the length of a haircut. So around 20 minutes or so. And then once they're able to do that, we've also gotten them used to the tools, and now we can, book that appointment. Other things that you can do though to get them ready, maybe take them to the place where you're planning on going for their haircut. Especially if it's a kid's place, you could go early and let them play for a few minutes, and you could show them pictures online, so that they are ready for when they go to the salon for their appointment.
Okay. Strategy 3 is just about when you're actually going. So we're going to bring the snacks, bring the iPad or the phone or whatever it is that they really, really like. That's obviously like manageable to do while they're in the chair, and get through it. I had one client that we had mom, dad, and sister and me there. It took a whole production, but they said there's never been a more smooth haircut because he sat on dad's lap and sister held the phone for him so that the stylist could get around and in there, and mom handed him little Cheerios occasionally, and he probably didn't even, it was like he didn't even know that he was getting his haircut because he had all the best things. Snuggles with daddy, snacks, and an iPhone. What else could you want? So if you have a spare person for support, that's great. Hopefully it will go smoothly because you've just prepared so well ahead of time. But as we know, kids have a mind of their own. You could get there and your kid could still, melt down or whatever it is. And hopefully that's not the case. These things really should help. We've done this with clients. They help. We've, gotten feedback from the parents that helping with the cape or the buzzers or whatever it is actually did really improve their time at the hairstylist. So hopefully it can help you guys too. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was a Grace and Grit guidance submission again. We turned it into an episode. So if you have questions that you want answered, you can email us at graceandgritbcs@gmail.com. We love helping you guys out, especially if it's something that we feel like a lot of families need answers about or advice on. So if you have any additional questions, you can email us at graceandgritbcs@gmail.com. We also have free resources and products on our website. Visit us at graceandgritbcs.com. And thank you so much for listening to the Parenting with Grace and Grit podcast.